sweat glands, for example, respond, or eye dilation respond to Torah. And also the expanded aspects of consciousness, also the potential to, because when we Torah is received after a particular preparation practice, let's say a cleansing and grounding practice, and then an elevation through different meditations and prayers to prepare yourself to receive, as I understand, this energy, this light of the Torah. This is like something that's then revealed, and that process of revelation, one should imagine, and Jeremy can correct me, obviously, if one should imagine being standing at the foot of Mount Sinai and receiving this revelation, these sounds, these words, this energy, and there should be I mean, for me, it can induce an experience of awe or an expansion. So, and I guess that's very subjective, what states it induces in an individual. But definitely my experience is this, and this is where the process begins, is to give people more of a direct experience of this, of the Torah in its purest form, which is just a sharing of energy, of light, of revelation, giving someone a mystical experience through the sounds. So it's always coming back to what are these sounds and how to make that more accessible, more direct, by bypassing the intellect. So to measure that is definitely, for me, very interesting. But I just wanted Jeremy just to connect with you and just to, as I mentioned the last time, I introduced Jeremy to someone else, and it was obviously and now I wanted to introduce Jeremy to you to talk about, just to keep exploring this topic, and it's great to have Jeremy's insights and feedback. Yeah.
You know, it's great listening to you, and I think this is an important area. But of course, I know it's something that people have been involved with for a long time, and recognizing and finding ways of tracking the brain and seeing what happens when people meditate and so forth and so on. So, you know, I think this is a wonderful opportunity which has amazing ramifications and possibilities, nothing to do with the area of spirituality that we're talking about. But, you know, sort of as far as Luke is concerned, I think he and I are slightly on different wavelengths, because his wavelength is just the area of a meditational experience, a spiritual experience, whereas I'm concerned with a way of life, with a way of living. And it is through this way of living, and not just through the text, that I think the important message that I'm concerned with really can come through. So that what this is, important as it is, I don't think it has any real bearing on what I'm interested in.
So can I respond to that very quickly, Jeremy? Sure. By giving someone this mystical experience, one is then more prone to moving in the lifestyle aspect of the spirituality, because there is a direct relationship from the mystical to the practical, because ultimately you have the experience which gives you this connection, and then you're drawing that down into your day-to-day life. You're not remaining high up in this divine energy, this disconnected state. It's about merging these two, but one has to know the other. So the mystical experience is an important process of awakening something. So when you are asked to live a particular way, it doesn't become religiosity or dogma or just pure tradition that becomes disassociated with the experience, and one understands why they're doing something, what they are moving towards, or what they are living towards. And therefore everything becomes sacred, and then you start to relate the divine to every experience, because ultimately the life that you're guided to live brings you back to that state in every moment of existence of your day-to-day. Yeah,
no, it'd be lovely if it did. I'm afraid I'm skeptical.
I know. But it's to measure that and to give people to have that conversation to bind these two worlds, because otherwise you've got the very new age who live up here and you've got the very religious that live in the practical, but there's no correlation, and the new generation can't connect. And they don't know, and we suddenly lose the fundamental importance of this text in all its dimensions.
It would be wonderful if it were. So
this is one of the there are many areas of exploration with Soulingua, but this is one of them, is to, and as I progress with you and I get the feedback, I also start to understand. And I'm reading a very beautiful book right now about the life of what it means to live the life of a Kabbalist, and more it's the living it in the present. It's in the now, the moment. But that only makes sense when you understand what you're living towards, what you're moving towards.
If this sort of process will achieve that, I'd be delighted, as you know. I mean, I'm skeptical, but I'd be delighted. I have an open mind about it.
Anyway, so Paolo, this is Jeremy, and if you have any questions to ask Jeremy about both aspects, both the mystical and the pragmatic aspects of Judaism, and how the Torah connects those, this is a good time. So there's lots of questions. It's not your path and your practice, but you're Catholic because you're based in Italy.
Before Paolo starts, I just want to make one observation, and that is, when you talk about the sound and the impact on the brain of reading Torah, my problem is, but different people read Torah in a different way with different sounds. And here you've got a problem. So, for example, you listen to a Jew from an Arabic country reading Torah, it sounds like the Quran. Yeah. When you have somebody from Western Europe reading it, it sounds much more like Western culture. And very often, the personal emotion differs. So all these factors are very interesting factors, but I think that it's much more complex, the path that you're trying to go down on this issue, than you realize. Anything you want to say or ask me? I'm happy.
I don't. For me, that's not that's never been the blockage for him, because I've had different. So when I listen to Torah, sometimes I listen to it when I listen online, and sometimes I listen to it from Russia, and sometimes I tune in from the US. Sometimes I tune in mostly I tune in from the UK. But I have connected through different channels, through different teachers, through different ways of reading. And that has never been the blockage for me. And again, it's because sound is still within the realm of sense. So we're dealing with the interface of reality. So the senses are our interface for which we experience reality. When we talk about something relating to the mystical, it transcends the five senses. It transcends everything in relation to the physical. So the sounds or the scanning of the text or reading the text, we're still working through the physical. What I'm alluding to is something that has no fundamental relation with the physical, even the emotional. However, those are pathways to that experience.
So why did you send me those two clips of Hasidic masters, so to speak?
I send you a lot of different things. Not all of them are the right things to send you. And sometimes which texts?
There was one about the artificial intelligence and religion, having the...
the Torah, the Torah VR.
That one.
Because I found that fascinating as a... Sorry, Jeremy. The Torah VR.
Yeah, and then the other one was of a guy called Mordechai ben David.
Mordechai. Are they both relating to the Torah VR? Did I send you something to Mordechai ben David? Let me just check. What did I send you recently? No, I sent you the Torah on Instagram, the Baal Shem Tov, and then the website.
That's right. So it's the Baal Shem Tov one.
Yeah, but fundamentally, what I thought was really beautiful about that. Sorry, I sent Jeremy. I haven't sent that to Paolo. There's a group of Hasidic Jew technologists who are based in the US who are building a VR system to bring people into the experience of the Torah through the stories, to evoke the experience by being present with some of the tales, and you could relate it to and I talked about this in the past. Maybe I love this idea that people can be at the bottom, at the root of Mount Sinai in VR 3,500 years ago, waiting to receive this revelation, and then using binaural sound and using full immersion in VR and using certain pitch frequencies, we can give people the experience, and we can establish that sense of awe by presence. So VR is beautiful because it brings you into presence.
Yes,
and therefore, and that's when there's a group of Jewish people who are looking into this technology, and I just connected through. Someone sent that to me, and I was like, amazing. I've been thinking about that. It's part of a picture because it's to give people a more deeper understanding of what the experience was, and that helps bridge that gap, because otherwise we're dealing with Bible stories that have no correlation to our personal lives today, and there's a disconnect for the majority. And when you talk about bringing this wisdom through to the next generation that are kind of Instagram kind of natives and digital natives who live through technology, and VR will be the technology of the future, to the benefits of this technology when handled with a certain level of consciousness is to tell these epic human stories in a new and exciting way, which has always been the case of passing information down from one generation to another generation. And we can do that. And this and it's what is also beautiful is that very religious Orthodox Jewish people of its younger generation are seeing the value of this technology by telling certain stories. But then it's also to support that experience and what the sounds were at Mount Sinai, what was revealed, what was revealed to create this awakening in people. How do you give your common layman, your individual who has no context of Judaism, an experience? Not just like, oh, that's cool, but wow. And there is a potential with this technology to do that, in my opinion. So that was why I sent you those videos.
Yes, VR is absolutely useful when you have to deliver some kind of experience, very immersive. And so this is absolutely a very interesting technology. About us, I think that we cannot help you about text understanding, text analysis, because your idea is more about the effect of the sound of the reading of the Torah. Maybe I think that it could be interesting if you had the possibility to test, for example, different speakers, different readers from different part of the world, so West, East, and maybe you could record the sound of their speech, and then you could measure the effect, the impact about the brain waves on different type of people, in order to say something like this. Okay, I have this audio, which is from a reader from this type of the part of the world, and I know, because I've tested this audio on several people, that people that who lives in this part of the country are more, let's say, affected by the influence of the sound, and they can reach a different level of consciousness. And I can measure that with, of course, with polls, questionnaire, but I can also measure in terms of brain activity. and then you could say to the people, okay, you can choose different type of readers, and experience with that reading a different type of meditation or consciousness. And but you can deliver this idea only if you can measure that thing.
Yeah, I think I actually think that is one of the most sensible ways to move forwards, is as measuring the different ways of reading, and then measuring brain activity, and starting with that type of neurofeedback. I think that's actually a really when presenting this as a paper, as a research document, that would probably be the entry point, because you want to first qualify that there is something that's being provoked for certain people in a particular way, and then you've got a basis to begin to do some serious research and to also raise funds to move that research forwards and to find different ways of expressing, because what I'm proposing is quite avant-garde also, and it's
absolutely.
And you need to go through stages to do this kind of work.
Yeah, and I think that maybe you can imagine a spiritual person, or a believer, or just interested in the person in this kind of topic, and the person could have, for example, just the audio experience, okay, or it could also have that crown, that sensor, in order to see in real time the path of its own brain in terms of waves, in order to stay in that mood. For example, that kind of application are used when you are meditating, and they show you a little ball floating in the air in an app. Okay, if you start thinking something, the ball collapses because the hardware can detect that your brain is thinking to something. If you can retake your spirituality, your meditation activity, you can empty your mind of all thoughts. In that case, maybe you concentrate yourself on your breath, and in that case, you can see the ball floating in the air, okay, like feedback that you are in the right move. So it's easier for you to detect if you are meditating in the right way or not. This is an application they already did. And so with the same idea, you could do the same, measuring the experience of listening to Torah, and give a real-time feedback to the listener in order to see if the mental status is changed, and if it's correct, if you want to deliver a specific mindset status.
Great tool.
Very difficult for me to explain this in English, but in any case, I thought
you did it very well.
Right.
Brilliantly. No, amazing. I'm just staggered at how good you are. No, it's a beautiful tool. I think it's so important. And as would you say, Luke, I mean, this new world we're in is a world in which this sort of channel is likely to reach out to people more than any other.
This would be one of the potentials to make this wisdom more accessible.
Yeah, if we found something, an AI to generate sounds from, generate images, let's say colored shapes that moves from the sound, you could also join with, you can also use the VR in order to give to the listener a full experience with audio and also visual experience, and maybe that thing can improve the experience even more. We don't know. It's an hypothesis.
Yeah.
But it could be interesting for people who are really believers and passionate about Torah, giving this experience from someone who is reading with the correct language, sound, rhythm, etc. And also to have a real measurable feedback back from this experience. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, but it's okay. It seems feasible. Okay, this is one important thing. It seems feasible, because if you connect the dots, maybe you can find different startups that have the right piece of technology that can be used in a more creative way in order to deliver something brand new, like this thing.
That's great. Great.
Okay.
Cool. Nice.
I'd like to keep in touch. It's a
yes.
great
Now it's yeah. You could put together in a presentation and start finding some baker to having a prototype, or talking with Neurosity or the other company, Emotive, in order to see if they can help you, giving you the SDK, so the development kit, in order to try something. Because you have to try something. Maybe it's not difficult at all, because maybe they have already available to use something that can measure your brain activity. And if you have something that can read a piece of Torah, and you can test this piece of reading to multiple people, you can have some data to validate your hypothesis, this hypothesis.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Great talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
I'm very pleased you both had the opportunity to connect, and we've recorded this conversation. We can send it over, maybe take some time to process, and maybe we can have a follow-up call about what is possible moving forwards and how to progress these conversations. It's great to obviously have you part of these conversations, Jeremy, because you lend your experience and credibility and knowledge of the Torah and all the Jewish texts to everything that we're doing.
Okie dokie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you,
Jeremy. All the best. Ciao. He's still with us. Oh.
I don't have to get out of this.
You gotta press the red button.
Impossible. It's Google. It's Google. It's impossible to go out.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Thank you. So we can stop the
Thank
recording.
you. I stopped the recording now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we. Okay. The recording will be saved in meeting organizer Google Drive. Okay. I will check.